Hey, we are live with Outside the Fence, and if you remember a year ago, we had pyro outside the garage door, but I've upgraded to indoor pyro. So check this out, Mike. Happy birthday.
Hey, thank you.
When is your birthday?
2 weeks.
Well, see, I was close. Gosh, that's pretty good. Welcome to an Outside the Fence, live from South Beloit, Illinois. We are in the speed shop of DJ Smith. You see his, well, party's over. All right, good night, everybody. That's it. If you see behind us, the covered up now, NASCAR late model. Been working on that car very hard this week, it looks like, but we'll let that go for now. DJ is hosting the site here for Outside the Fence, and tonight's guest is Mike Doris. We'll get to Mike, but we'll cover up some upcoming news. And in the racing world, though, the big news, the Chili Bowl going on this weekend. I don't know if anybody's, you don't have to be a dirt fan, really.
I've been watching all week.
Yeah, I get to see the highlights. That's kind of cool at the end of the night. And then, believe it or not, less than a month, the Daytona 500 kicks off. Speed weeks and all the excitement. Interesting to hear what's going to happen down there. I said they say limited capacity at Daytona. Haven't heard the numbers. I know a lot of the NASCAR functions and meetings have been canceled and gone to virtual, so that's a little different animal going on in Daytona. Locally, we are finishing up the Rockford rules, the Big 8 Series rules, be released tomorrow. Some highlights there. In the late model division, not a lot. Pretty much the same. It's another 3-year rule book. The only thing we really did was change the spring maximum height from 12-inch to 10-inch, and some of the safety updates as the years change, the 5-year, 10-year seatbelt helmet rules. Our Sportsman class pretty much running the same again. We are doing the crate motor in that class, and we're going to allow the open motor. We were going to get rid of it and go to all crates. Then we decided let's leave the open option in there, run a 6600 chip. The American short trackers are taking some bigger changes for that division. We're going to take the from a 2.3 motor up, allow the 2.5, allow them a 12-pound flywheel, roller rocker, and cam to help keep those cars and those engines together. Roadrunners, another one. Not a lot of changes there. Biggest change, we went from still allowing the open motor, the Roadrunner rules as it is, but allowing the crate motor this year. And I want to ask you a question, Mike. I know you have one of those types of cars. The other one, Sixers, pretty much the same. We're going to tech those cars a lot harder. Make sure everybody's cars sit level or with 1 inch each other. Same way in the Bandits. And we're taking the mirrors out of the Sixers this year. And so that came into the Roadrunners. The Roadrunner cars want to take out the mirrors, some of the drivers. The international cars, changing some weights on them. And I think the Bandits also have we're limiting the horsepower to a max 160 horsepower on the Bandit cars and changing some of the weights on them to getting the specialty cars out of the Bandit class and make it really what it is. So, Mike, for you, a couple of questions. We'll get to your racing here, but let's talk rules. Roadrunner style car, that's what you run, basically. It's technically called a street stock, super something.
Actually,
he runs dirt cars a lot.
I did.
Did? Well, all right.
I'm pretty much retired now. I'm basically just a Bahama Brackets rat.
Hence the Bahama Bracket shirt, just for
awesome.
Mike. Just for you.
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I've talked to a lot of guys that think that if the Roadrunners went more with a hobby stock style rule book, I think, I don't know. That's just me being a fan in the stands, I guess, when I do get a chance to come out. But I think that would draw more cars, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we're getting a little closer with the crate motor in the Roadrunners. The question that has come up, and unfortunately the hobby stock run a 10-inch used late model tire. There's a lot of cutting and chopping in those cars. You don't have to have stock floor pans. Our big question that we're looking at adding is bay bars in the front of the cars, which is basically from your front hoop down to the frame rail and then obviously across. So that's one, we're looking at adding that to the Roadrunners because there is some older hobby stock cars that could become a Roadrunner. I mean, they could cut those bars out too and get rid of them, but
True.
They do stiffen the car up. Cars are getting harder to come by. I'm like, no, I don't really want to do that, but probably going to do it, add a little weight to them, maybe 25, 50 pounds if you have the bay bars. I don't know. What do you think of something like that?
I mean, change is hard, but I think in the long run, I think, car count wise, it might help it. I mean, unfortunately, I know going from, I've been out there watching quite a bit. Unfortunately, I've never really got to run a full season out there or, experience a season out there. But, when it went from running the 16-inch tire to having to run, to the Hoosier, it probably killed a lot of cars off, but unfortunately, I thought I talked loud enough.
Yeah, speak up. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like the change might have killed it, but
Well, I got to admit, it was hard to beat a $20 cop car takeoff tire that we ran for years and years and years.
But then, like a lot of people said, now that a lot of the police departments went away from the 16-inch tire. I mean, you can still get them, but I mean, they're not as cheap as the used tires are.
Right. That was back in those days. Those cop car takeoffs. Some of them had new tread on them, but they had a plug in them or a hole. And
Right.
not that you needed a lot of tread in racing, but that was a great deal for many, many years. I know the switch to the Hoosier 850. It's a $100 tire, and everybody cried, but those things last forever. There's some guys using them 2 years.
Right.
Worse, they wear out when they get cut. I mean, that's what really happens to them. What's your thoughts on the Roadrunner car and mirrors, taking them out? If we get them out of the Sixer class, and speaking of dirt, you have a lot of background in dirt. Let's go with that. But a lot of dirt cars have no mirrors.
Right. Like
Is that because they get clogged up with mud? Or well, I guess it would go the other way. But
no, I mean, honestly, I think when I first started, at Sycamore Speedway, we were allowed to run mirrors in the street stocks, and on a personal, it kind of really screwed me because twice in the same night I was leading the heat race and leading the feature, and I got last lap. I look in the mirror and I messed myself up, and the guy passed me to win both times. So after that, I took the mirror out. I was done with that. But then, later on, they outlawed the mirror, and I think it's better. I mean, dirt racing, there's no spotters. I mean, you see, you watch these dirt late model guys, and they can run 3-4 wide and have there's a track full of cars and not one of them touch. So I mean, they do have their signal guys and stuff like that too, but
right.
I don't know. Honestly, I think taking the mirrors out of the cars would be better. I know there's a lot of mirror driving and stuff going on, so I mean that's just my personal opinion.
Well, that's what we like to hear. Let's get to your history now. You've been racing a while. Your brother races. Your wife races. How did it all start? Did your father, family members, or what got you into the racing bug?
My dad, growing up, my dad always built motors for guys. He never was a driver, but later on down the road, he was crewing for our dentist at the time, and he used to run road race cars. So we used to go to Road America with him. We went to Black Hawk, and my dad was his crew chief.
Cheese.
Yeah,
party,
yeah. Well, he was a dentist. I mean, he had money.
Oh,
so
well, that fits that.
Yeah, but we did that for a long time, and I grew up around that stuff. I always grew up, there was cars at our house all the time. But my parents' friends were over with cars, so I always grew up around it. My dad later on got a car, and his plan was to build it and race, do some road racing, and he just never really got around to it. But I actually started drag racing. That was my, and I did that for a while. But a buddy of mine, he came up to me and was like, "Hey, let's go out to Sycamore and watch the races." I think I lived up here for a couple of years. I'm like originally from Kankakee.
Okay.
And I was like, "Where the hell's Sycamore?" I didn't even know nothing about it. So we went out there and we watched, and it was like the first night. I was like, we went out there on a Friday night when they run the Spectators, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this." So after being able to hit the dirt track the one time, the drag racing stuff just kind of went
out the window.
Yeah.
So from there, you started at Sycamore?
I started at Sycamore.
In the Friday night. Tell me what their Spectator car, or what the Friday night.
Spectator cars is basically all the Friday night stuff. The Spectator division is basically just a car off the street. Now it's the Crown Vics because they're easy to come by. The old cop cars, stuff like that. It's basically you take the windows out, you weld the driver's door, chain the rest of the doors, and you paint a number on it. You're going racing.
So it's enduro cars today, or an entry level.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, basically like the old Midwest enduro days. Back in the day. Like kind of like you guys, the old Slammer division, basically when it was out there. But it's the Friday nights. It used to be like when I started, it was quite the it was a rolling demolition derby, but it's changed quite a bit over the years. And when people come out to watch, they see the change. It's more racing related now than anything. The cars are getting really expensive, and it's not worth tearing stuff up.
In the old days, fights in the stands, beer drinking, a lot
just
of
like
that
any other
wild.
racetrack. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that happens.
Oh yeah, true.
So I'm supposing on Friday night now there's got to be tech. Cars they're still cheating. Everybody's not cheating. They're attempting to make the car faster.
True. Yeah. There's tech. I mean, there never was tech before. There's tech. It's mostly the cars they have to be stock. That's basically what the deal is, and it's more or less to keep them cheap. But obviously we're never going to knock anybody for safety stuff. I mean, you want to run a roll cage and bars, or belts and a racing seat and all that stuff like that. I mean, it's never frowned upon. Obviously, we're not going to knock anybody for safety. So
you got out of racing. You said no, pretty much. Behind the brackets.
Behind the brackets, maybe short track. But
we'll talk about that later. But you've positioned yourself into working at the track.
Yeah.
And you've been the announcer, flagman, tech guy. What else? Tell me
That's
about that.
I drove the pace car. That's about it. That's the other one, but yeah.
There is a pace car and dirt car or dirt
Yeah,
racing.
sometimes we
Okay, that was another question.
we used it out like the special races and stuff like that. It'll come out, but yeah, basically I've done almost everything now at Sycamore. So
What's the best one?
flagging, I love flagging. Yeah, flagging's the best.
In asphalt racing, most tracks have a race director situation. Does dirt the same way, or is it up to the flagman to penalize guys?
I guess it all depends on the track. As far as I'm concerned, on the Friday nights, I guess I'll do both. Race direct and flag at the same time. And I'm sure a lot of the guys that probably are watching right now are get sick of me bitching at them all the time. But that's just a part of it. I mean, I don't know. You always want the best out of everybody. I mean, it's just it's kind of like we used to talk about it all the time. It's kind of like a coach. A coach is always up your ass and, trying to make you better. And I guess, I don't know, that's maybe what I try to do. I don't know if the guys think about that way, but,
Well, apparently, if they're going to send in some nasty remarks, I don't think it's working well, Coach. So what's it like being the tech guy then? I mean,
I help with tech on Friday nights only.
Okay.
I used to do it a lot on Saturdays, but I kind of got away from that, especially because the division that I was teching for, my wife races. So
that could be a problem.
yeah, it was kind of it started to be a problem. So I kind of stepped away from it, and I let our head tech guy, every time she pulled up on the scale, I let him look at the car. I'd walk away. Just to. It's like a visual for everybody to see that I wasn't teching her car, and so.
Gotcha.
But
So she's still racing?
she does, yep.
Sycamore?
Yeah, Sycamore only.
What class?
Pure stock class.
Pure stock.
Yep.
And that's similar to like a Rockford Roadrunner?
It's basically a Roadrunner. Yeah,
As
it's
we
pretty
would know it
close.
in this area. Okay.
Yeah,
How'd she do?
she's like a 6-time champion. I'm nobody compared to my
Okay,
wife.
wow.
She's a hell of a wheel. She could drive a car. So
So that's why you retired, pretty much?
yeah, basically.
I just had to throw that out there.
My house is only so big for the heads, right? So
So when she races, I know a lot of mothers, wives are panicked when their others out on the racetrack. So I'm hiding the bathrooms, hiding the cars. Some are on the fence screaming. What are you like when she's racing? Do you watch?
yeah, on Saturday nights at the track, I work on the infield. It's not really safety stuff, but I kind of help make calls. I'll watch a corner or
Okay.
whatever. But it's my heart starts pounding, because I know, being in the driver's seat myself, I know what happens, and so I'm kind of like, I try to do my job watching everything, but I'm basically watching her the whole time. So
making sure she's okay.
true, yeah.
So your brother Mike, does he race?
Matt,
I'm sorry.
he
I always do that with you and your brother. I'm sorry about that.
Terry.
And Lexi's here tonight.
Yeah, Terry Gerke does that too. She calls me Matt, or so I'm used to it. But sorry.
Well, I know I've got 6 other brothers.
Oh,
So
I
I know
yeah.
the game.
Yeah, no, he bought Steve Dixon's old Sportsman car years ago, and he ran 2 seasons out at Rockford in the Sportsman division, and he kind of stepped away from it, bought a house and stuff like that. So his main concern was the house, and so the car's been sitting, but he's slowly putting it back together. I know he helps me quite a bit at the brackets, and I know it's probably killing him to sit and watch, because it kills me to sit and watch. So, but yeah, he's putting it back together. So I'm hoping in the next year or 2 he comes back out and races. So
Awesome.
I know he wants to.
So you had another family, Lily.
Yes, my
Lily.
stepdaughter Lily. She raced Wing Women on Wheels.
She's still racing?
No.
That was what, 2 years ago? Or
I
3
believe
years ago?
so. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Yeah, she finished second in points. She did a hell of a job. And I mean, for what she was up against, car-wise, we really didn't put a race car together. It was basically a stock Neon, and she did a hell of a job. I think she missed one night, and she ended up finishing second in points. She did a great job. So I was really, really proud of her seeing that.
she ran Bandits along with that, or just the
No, she just
straight
wing
wing
on
on
wheels.
wheels, huh?
Yeah, she misses it. We've been really trying to talk her into running some dirt stuff, and I don't think she wants anything to do with it.
So that we brought that up in the last couple of shows. We've pretty much got a rid of wing women on wheels at Rockford, because you're right that we had these 3 or 4 Rockets cars that they won every time, and then 2 or 3 other ones. So the idea came up is let's take the Sixers and not make it wing women or wing Sixers, but we'll do some powder puff or a couple of women's races. And most likely in conjunction with our high school racing association, the high schoolers can be racing that night, and then we could bring the women powder puff Sixers in. Because a lot of the women in the Sixer class were intimidated.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to say it. They were afraid. Because, you put 24, 25 cars, and it's kind of crazy first couple of laps.
To say the least.
Usually we got to, it's rare to get a green or a one green flag lap in on those guys,
right.
girls, whatever. So, well, that's good. At least she's got some aspirations.
Yeah, and she loved Rockford. So I have a car. I have a car I put together. So, I mean, if it comes down to running a 6-cylinder women's thing, maybe we can put her in mind. So, because I know she'd love to get back out there.
See, there we go. Got our first recruit. There we go. So let's go down to the granddaddy, your favorite race, the Bahama Bracket Nationals.
Yes.
Believe it or not, this will be the 30th year we're going to do that at Rockford. Good Lord of willing. When did you get started in Bahamas, or what got you going into the Bahamas?
It was always we always talked about it about going up to. I don't know if we came up to watch one time, but I know we brought my brother's car up there, and that's back when he was running at Kankakee. And we basically we threw slicks on the car. We didn't change anything. We didn't change the gear. We didn't put a sway bar on the car or anything. We were just green. We had no idea what the hell we were doing. But he ended up finishing third, the first time out. And I think at that point that was it. We were hooked. We were ready. I mean, where do you go to a racetrack other than to Fest with such a giant party, and it's a yearly family gathering is basically what I think it is anymore, because it's nice it sucks because you only get to see half these guys once a year, but it's fun to come back and tell stories of the season, and I love it. That's my Daytona 500 World 100. I love that race.
So Bahama Brackets is a collection of, there is essentially 10 rules, basically weight and tires. So you come, you qualify, and then we bracket you by your by your speed. So you'll see dirt cars, you'll see modifieds, the short, everything. You were probably in the 4A or 3A?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the 4A,
Okay.
years in the 4A. But I mean, it's like anything else. It progressively got faster and faster and faster. And so I found myself into 3A, the last 2 years, and my car was definitely not fast enough to run a 3A, and I was basically just a field filler. But I'm still racing, and it's that's probably the toughest thing to walk away from as a weekly deal. But I'll take it. I'll take being able to race once a year still.
Did you ever get broken out at Bahamas?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I did a couple of years ago. I believe I think it was a bash race on Saturday night. I was trying to pass for the lead, and on the bottom, thinking I was on the bottom, I was fine, but I ended up breaking out. But story of my life.
Those dang transponders we went to,
exactly.
that really just changed things up. So back to Bahamas, I think it was this year, you had a big one. Tell us about that.
Well, we didn't make it through the heat, so we had to run a bash, and started in the back of the bash, which knowing that I didn't really have the car to compete with the 3A cars. Even going back to that, it's amazing how just 0.4 to a half a second is, and basically that's what that whole class was,
Right.
And it was so tight, but my car just wasn't quick enough. But car in front of me. We were coming down the back straightaway, and he lost his engine, and I saw nothing but smoke. I mean, it was a straight up Days of Thunder, moment. And I hit the brakes, kind of panicking, and I kind of knew it was coming because the spot I was at on the back straightaway, and I hit the hooks, and I kind of closed my eyes and embraced myself because that damn point, and I knew it was coming. Car hit the point, and the guy behind me, I don't remember what his name was, he got into the oil also and hit the back of me and kind of spun the car back around, and it destroyed the car, and that was a killer. We put so much time in that car, and it came a long way in 4 years, and it is what it is. It's part of it.
As you said earlier, finally took it to the scrapyard.
Finally,
almost ready to.
No, I finally.
You're not going to leave it out in the yard and grow some plants in it?
Like Dale Jr. No, I can't do that. No, I finally cut the cage out of it. It took me a while. Because I mean, I guess I don't know. A lot of guys that race know that these things are a part of you. That you put so much time and work into them, and I mean, it's just like a part of the family, and it's like losing that car. It really sucked. Because especially, I mean, the backstory behind it all, and I kind of saved it from it sat.
Tell us about that part. What do you mean?
Oh, it was an old Midwest Enduro car.
Okay.
And I bought it from a buddy of mine, Rob Solario. He raced it in the Midwest Enduro for years. And they kind of got away from it, and they were going to start building a Kimmel car to run the Kimmel stuff, and they end up actually running a Sportsman out of Rockford also. And so that car sat in their back lot for years, and so I was kind of like, well, what are you guys doing with that thing, And so it went by years and years and years, and unfortunately his dad passed away, and they were kind of losing their storage, and so he called me one night and he asked me if I was interested in it. And I'm like, So he called me back, and like 5 minutes later, he's like, I tell you what, come pick it up for $500. It's yours. So I went and I picked it up, and the car sat, it sat over the winter, and we started putting it together and stuff like that. But yeah, it had, like to say, the backstory, was a buddy of mine, and his dad was a real good friend of mine, and so the car meant a lot, A
lot of history to it.
Yeah, it did.
Speaking of history, hanging in the beer garden at Rockford Speedway, there's a door, 3-4U. Matt Arvia, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's Matt was a very good friend of mine, which I'm sure he's a lot. Matt was quite the character, especially at brackets. I know Susie loved him because. The one night he came up and threw a $100 bill up and bought $100 worth of grilled cheese, and then threw another $100 up, bought $100 worth of beer. So I think that was the first time I met him, and we just kind of clicked, and we just good friends for years, and unfortunately he passed away, and I kind of wanted to do a memorial car for him. So we went and repainted the car and put his number on it and stuff like that, because being out there without him, was kind of without that car out there, because he was a staple at the brackets. I mean, Jesus, everybody knew Matt, because we'd always go up and change the sign above the bar and stuff like that. So.
And we did that this year too.
So, the sign out front, the sign at the bar, but yeah, with him being gone, it definitely was. That's why I wanted to do it. He's a great friend of mine, and. So I figured we'd do that, and I just kept it on there. I talked to his dad, Jim, and he asked me, he's like, just as long as you run the car, can you keep the number on it? And I said, yeah, of course,
So you acquired that number?
So I acquired it. Yeah, I was
what
usually
were you before?
82.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was always, that was my number forever, but changing that number wasn't going to kill me,
Well, it meant something. There's a reason for it.
Right. Yep.
Another piece hanging at the beer garden at Rockford Speedway is, I think it's the 2002, the Doris Fabulous Brothers Karaoke rear deck lid, something of that nature.
Yeah, that's off of Nick Clubb's car. He put a mid-am body on his car for the brackets one year, and he was just kind of looking for some funny stuff to put on the car. That was on his trunk lid, and he had that up there. We all signed it that year, but yeah, that's because my brother and I will have a couple Hemis and think we're rock stars at the end of the night.
Little
kind of thing.
karaoke?
Yeah.
Did you ever have to do sing? Because part of that event, we do sing for your start.
Yeah. Oh,
We've
yeah.
been doing that. And it's kind of a karaoke contest, and we vote or let the crowd vote, and then you get a starting spot in the main event. Did you ever have to go through that?
I did.
Did you win?
No, not at all. I thought I was doing good, but the crowd obviously didn't love me. But yeah, it's all right.
That gets a little heated there.
It does.
Been behind the stage on that one. So, what other Bahama bracket memories?
I want to say a few years ago, I think my best finish out there was 8th, I think, years ago. And I think a couple of years ago, it was actually 3 years ago, I started 16th in the Quad A feature. And we drove all the way up to 3rd. And that was just, that was probably the highlight for me. That was the best finish I've ever had. And, of course I wanted to win the damn thing, but, it'll come one of these days, I hope.
Well, starting at 16th, usually the couple of the leaders break out.
Yeah, they were
after, and those races are known to have a few caution periods.
And that, just like anybody else, I'll sit there, I'll watch that video, and probably 400 times a year just to, because I love it. Obviously, thanks to these guys for doing it, because I love going back and watching that. It's great.
Yeah, Kyle at Misfit and his dad at shooting photos, the brothers shooting photos and videos.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Speaking of Misfits, though, there's a subscribe button on the YouTube channel, right? So
hit 18,000 a day.
We hit 18,000. Or Kyle hit 18,000 viewers or subscribers. So you can help him out by joining. Hit subscribe, and it actually works out. Helps pay for his time, his effort, the money, and the cameras, and I don't think he can cover all the time that this takes, but
Right.
But anyway, so join. Yeah, the guys in the back, the clowns. The clowns have left the room.
The audience, I mean.
Yeah, well, that's true. What? So tell me your greatest racing moment. Maybe not yours, or
You say greatest?
greatest.
Oh, okay.
I got more. Don't
Okay,
worry.
that's fine.
We'll go with that.
Obviously, I've had some great times at Rockford, but we did a memorial race for my dad at Sycamore, and it's the street stock division. And my mom went out, and she went out and got sponsors that paid, and so we had a decent amount of money. So we paid basically everybody to start, and I think first through third, and my brother ended up winning it, and
Oh wow.
that was pretty cool. That was probably one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. And I was in it. I think I finished 8th, but to watch him take the checkered flag in my dad's race, that was probably the best thing I think I've ever seen.
I think I would agree.
Yeah.
I think you got it covered there. So the other side of that, what's the worst racing
Oh,
moment?
wrecking my car last year was probably the worst.
Make it fresh.
Yeah.
Salt in the
I mean,
wound. Come on, David.
I've torn up some cars before, but I've never destroyed a car like that.
Did you ever do demo derbies and all
No.
that crazy stuff?
I don't know. I can't see putting all that time into a car just to go out there and destroy it. I mean, everybody's got their thing. That's just not my thing. I don't know. I'll
just
watch
think
it.
it
I
would-
think it's kind of funny, but
it
I'll,
just hurt so much when you're all done.
that's not for me.
Where you go now? You're back at Sycamore next year. Is that the plan?
Yep. That's the plan.
Flagging. Now you were an announcer at one point.
I did.
know
I
you
did,
came and guest hosted at Rockford.
I did Wednesday nights.
Wednesday
I did.
nights.
Yeah. I think my announcing days are behind me. I don't think. I don't know. You got to have the gift of gab, and I can talk sometimes, but man, I don't know. It takes a few beers, and you can't sit there and just drink all night long. And up there, so
It is a lot of work.
I guess you could, but
It is a lot of work.
It is.
I've been behind the mic a whole night, and when you're done, you're exhausted.
yeah.
I mean, Everybody goes, you don't do anything. You're just talking. Well, no,
it's not just talking.
it's not just talking.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
So at Rockford, somebody says there's a cool table in the beer garden.
Dan Lignell.
Danny Lignell, yes.
Oh yeah.
He chipped in that. What's that mean? What's the cool
The
table?
cool table, yeah. He always called it the cool table because it seemed like we, after the races, we were always at that same table, every night. Obviously, working at Sycamore on Saturday nights, it's hard for me to come up and watch. But, we do get rained out. That's our first choice is to come up and see you guys. So, when we hit that chance, that's basically where we're at every time. So
Awesome.
it's hard to drag us out of there. But, when Susie says last call, I guess it's time to go home.
Lights go up, we gotta go. Kyle, you getting any? I'm not showing any incoming stuff.
Really?
I guess nobody wants to talk to me. I don't know. That's all right.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah, there's some lots of comments.
Comments will appear here, but. All right, Mike. This is the fun part of the night. I like to ask me a question, or do you have a question? A lot of them turn into rules questions, and I always say no. So
No,
but
honestly, I know. Believe me, I know what you go through.
Okay. Thank
My
you.
phone goes off constantly over the wintertime. And I don't know. I guess for me, loving going out to Rockford when we get the chance, how long do you see that place going? I mean, obviously till,
A lot of rumors. I'll bring that.
Oh, I know.
that,
I've heard the rumors. The
and
rumor
I've
mill
covered
going
this the
nuts,
last
but-
couple of weeks. In September, we ended up. My mother retired.
Oh, I was
from
there
the
that night.
Daily operation. That was very cool. We had her in the pace car, and we had everybody come out from the pits, and I know Kyle's got some great footage of that. But actually, that started the ball rolling. Like, Speedway sold, and then every expert in the world knows it was a fact. They even knew the sale price too. And I said, well, I haven't seen the check yet, so this can't be true. But we're planning on keeping going. I can't say it'll go forever, but we'll be there next year. We'll be there the year after. And who knows what's going to happen in this world that we live in.
True, yeah.
I hope, the governor, I heard you're a big political guy too, but
It all
The
depends on
governor-
how you want to talk about it.
well, the governor opened the doors up today, so now you can go in and spend your money at a casino or at a
Of course,
machine.
yeah.
And at least they let them into the bowling alleys, but you still can't go into a restaurant and eat and sit down. Absolutely stupid, but let's see what happens with that. The rest of the political world, we don't want to get going there because it's ugly.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that right now.
It's pretty ugly. That's all. We'll just leave it at that. It's here's the footage of my mother's retirement
Oh,
party.
yeah.
All the guys out on the wall.
Yeah, I remember that. It was an awesome night. I was glad I
Yeah.
got to see that. It was cool.
And that came up. And by the way, she's doing well again. Everybody seems to ask that. And she's the worst part of that whole deal. And I've said this before, but when you go into these places, you're in a 14-day quarantine. You can't get out of the room. They kind of like a prison, I call it. Slide the food under the door, and her lifeline is her phone and the television. So we
Right.
talk to her. We do a Zoom call with her once a week, and the rest of my family. And but out of the 90+ days she's been there, and then she would go off to a doctor's or then another 14 days. So it was 90 days. 40 of them she's been in quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's another political subject. Tell me, but let's open that. That one's kind of an open, not political.
Yeah,
There's a
don't know.
1% survivability rate from COVID. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I know people that had it and survived it, and so I don't know. This is going to turn into a whole new show. Then if I start talking about this.
Oh wait, I'm just waiting for him to go.
Yeah.
Well, even Terry Gerke, our pit gate, you had mentioned her earlier. She had it. Knocked her out for a week.
Right.
But she's come back, and
Right.
she's fine. And
Yeah,
she did remind me to say now, she's still going to be at the Speedway next year, but we are looking for help, as we always are. We need a new flagman this year. and looking for help at the pit gate to take over what Terry was doing. She'll still be there, but we need competent help. And as you know, the commitment is you got to be there every Saturday night,
Yeah.
or Friday night, or yes, we can accommodate weddings and funerals, that kind of stuff. But when you commit to working at a racetrack, Guy, you know this one a good well. There, you change your schedule. You plan your summer around the race schedule. So
I know when I was racing, I missed quite a bit of weddings, but that's all right.
at least you had a good excuse.
They're still married, so what the hell? Yeah.
You had a good excuse. So,
Yeah.
That's the best part. Kyle, did you get any comments? Because I
Surely not updated? That's
no.
Yeah, there's been a couple questions.
Let's go with.
Yeah.
I know there's some outsiders not outsiders.
So there's.
I got a question for you. Back in the day, down at Sycamore, didn't the flag stand used to be on the inside
Yes.
of the track?
Yeah.
On a stand with cables for the lights, for the switches, back to the outside.
That's a possibility. I when I raced there, that's where the flag stand was.
And it was hit several times.
I hit it myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
It never moved.
And the flagman would just hold on to the rail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fonz. That was his nickname. He was, unfortunately, he passed away years ago. But yeah, he was quite the character. He was a lot of fun to talk to, and but yeah, it was funny because I would go out and I'd race there weekly, but if we'd want to go out and try a different track, say on a Friday night or something like that, you were so used to looking down at the infield for the flag, and it's like, oh shit, the guy's up here. It's like, but yeah, they changed it. We're up on the crow's nest, if you want to call it now, and so.
Well, back in the day when Rockford started, that was the scoring and the flag stand was all in the infield. And that was common back in the day. But hell, back then we didn't even have radios,
Right. Yeah,
The flag stand had a light bulb that the tower would flick on, and that would be one to go, I mean, that's... And I remember as a kid, I would run the lineups from the tower down to the flagman. I mean, that's, you had that person. I got fired by a radio. But, hey, I grew up too. What else we got coming in? There's got to be some good ones here.
Yeah, I'll read some.
Jesus.
Here we go.
Al says, if you're looking for things to do, sell hot dogs. Alex Adams says, you black flag throwing son of a gun.
Black flag throwing son of a gun. Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah.
Is it dirty driving? Is it? I mean, what?
Kind of, but there's some guys that just you try to talk to them, after a race or after a night and kind of, hey, kind of clean it up kind of thing.
They don't listen.
But it's sometimes it seems like it's throw the helmet on, deer in the headlights. Who gives a shit what anybody says? And, I'm sorry, all the time. Yeah.
There we go. Just had to throw that
Yeah.
in there. That's funny.
But Alex never got black flag. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So other guys have, but yeah, not Alex.
Well, he is next year now, that's for sure. Right?
That's true. He will be now.
Got a mark out for him. Is that the worst? Did you ever get now dirt racing? They say can get kind of wild. Did you ever get in a physical confrontation on the
Oh,
track?
yeah, yeah.
Uh-oh, this sparked another one. Not in the
Yeah,
pit.
it's I mean, I don't know. Not so much me. I'm kind of like the not really the peacemaker, but I've said a few things or thrown a few fists too myself. But my brother, he's the
wild.
he'll get the hothead, but he's not so much like that anymore. I think he's calming down in his old age now. He's over 40, so.
Well, that's good. Good deal, I guess. Huh?
Did he just say over 40 is old?
He did say over 40 is old.
I'll be 46, so it's old now.
50 is old.
Yeah.
I don't know the backstory to this, but it's in the comments. I won't read it. You don't have to address it. Sounds like it could be something. David, man, that's a hard last name.
Huppenbauer? Yeah.
Ask Mike about a header gasket from @Sportsman.
A header gasket for Mike Sportsman?
I want to say that was his dirt car. My brother wrecked his dirt car some Friday night. We towed it home, and I don't know if we were pulling the car apart to take it to the chassis shop to have it fixed, but I was working on the passenger side header, and I was trying to get it off, and I could not get the gasket off, or the header off, in that matter. So I finally got it out, and I got pissed off, and I whipped it, and about took Dave's head off with it, but yeah. That's about it.
Because they're heavy. I mean, they're metal.
Yeah.
They're not just
Yeah.
felt or rubber.
I don't have patience for shit sometimes, and stuff. Tools go flying. And
You ever thrown your cell phone?
no,
All right.
no, I've thrown my helmet.
At another driver or
No,
car?
just in the car. But yeah, you spend a lot of money on these things, and that's that's the last thing you think about whipping. But hey, you get pissed off enough, it's going for a ride. So that or the steering wheel, one or the other.
That's a frisbee, isn't it? Pretty much. To you guys.
Get some distance on those. Do you see those last three, the latest three comments?
I see nothing.
Yeah, there's
Well,
nothing. There's nothing
I'll
coming
just
up on
read
there.
them to you.
Yeah.
Nick Club. When is
Uh-oh.
Stacy gonna let Mike race more?
It's always honestly, I would love. I think I'd love to at least do another season. Maybe if I even have it in me, I don't know. But I would love to run a full season just once at Rockford before I stop completely, and just so I can go to banquet and party, because you guys throw a hell of a party. So
Well, no, speaking of that, we're planning on, well, it was supposed to be, would have been this weekend, probably. Close, around this time. Now pushed back to February 27th. Same game plan, same. Kyle's got some awesome video, and he snuck one in on me the other day, and boy, that'll get you going. Plus everything else he's got, all our champions are highlighted.
Right.
And
yeah, that's
all
a
the
great
thrills
time.
and spills. I mean, all the excitement.
Do I make the thrills and spills real? I mean, I know I'm not a weekly guy, but
Man, if I can find your video, I can't find it online.
it's under the double A bash for some reason. I don't know why.
No wonder. All
Yeah.
right,
I was looking forward to.
we'll get that fixed. All right, next question.
Yeah,
We'll skip that one. What's the hardest division to deal with as an official?
Well, like I said, stepping away from the rules deal now, I don't have to really worry about the all that kind of stuff. But I think, our most competitive class now out at Sycamore is the street stock class, and there's you hear a lot of all this in the pits all night long, and after a while it's kind of hard to deal with, and then getting the messages later on that night or Sunday morning, or so we even get that on Friday. Guys will message me on Saturday morning apologizing for shit that happened on Friday night. But it's like once I'm off the stand and, the races are over with and I'm in the pits having a couple beers, I don't remember anything. And my mind just, what? What did you say? I don't know, so. I do my job up there, but once we're done, it is what it is.
well, I would think usually your higher dollar classes, more money spent, usually seem to be the biggest. But I did learn last year when we started this high school racing association. Well, that's probably the worst one, because you've got mom, dad, uncle, brothers, cousins,
Yeah.
and now you got the soccer mom mentality. And it was a couple weeks ago. I said, I had to throw out a mother, an uncle. I mean, literally ban them from the racetrack for a 16-year-old racing. So
Right.
I mean,
It's
you're right.
I get it. I get it,
it's-
but sometimes it's better to say nothing at all. Take it home and bitch about it. It's probably easier that way.
So in the big world of racing, who's your longtime favorite? I mean, it could be a local guy or Cup or IndyCar. I mean, you went from drag racing to dirt. He didn't say Michael, did he?
Michael's okay. I like Michael. Yeah, I root for him. Mike Coleman, I root for him. You know, sometimes I see him, but
Is he still racing? Oh.
I don't know. I haven't seen Mike Coleman for a long time, so I don't know.
He's won
Maybe.
practice.
Oh, yeah, DJ Smith.
He's won
too.
practice a couple times.
I know. I was out there.
Sorry.
You did that out of pity. That was out of pity.
Hold on, I was out there with Mike on Thursdays, you know, practicing and stuff like that. I went to his trailer and stole some bolts and stuff, but you know, I know he's out there. I know he's trying. You know, I honestly, I don't watch a lot of Cup stuff. I don't. To me, there's, you know, if I got it on a Sunday, unfortunately, it's like I kind of, you know, doze off or whatever. If there was more short track stuff, I think, you know, more Bristol or more Martinsville kind of stuff, I'd be
Right.
way more into it. But
So you're an Outlaws fan?
I
that kind of stuff?
love
mean,
it all. I'll watch it all. 2 wheels, 4 wheels, racing all over. I love it all. But honestly, I don't really have a favorite.
Okay.
You know, Chili Bowl, you know, stuff like that. I like Rico because, you know, I think everybody loves Rico. But
Put your hand out.
but I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. I like a lot of guys. And girls too. Yeah, Larson's good. He's all right.
All right, this is getting a little different.
I thought we were talking about this, Mike.
Yeah, all right, changing the subject. So, is there something you always wanted to drive, never had the opportunity? I mean, do you want to take a cup car around Daytona or with Bristol, or how about a sprint car? I mean,
I'd love to drive a 410 sprint car. I think that'd be great, but that'll probably never happen. I don't know. Maybe I could drive Mike Coleman's late model one night or something like that.
all right, getting through your.
Matt
So-
Rammer says, Rammer, here you might be in a vintage car.
Yeah, Matt.
Wow.
That's supposed to be a secret. No, I actually no. Matt's gonna come in and buy a body from me tomorrow for his vintage series, and he kind of said that he might possibly need me a couple nights. So of course, I twist my arm. I'll jump into a car anytime I get a chance. You know.
Doesn't have to negotiate too hard.
No.
So, will you ever hit the pace car like your brother?
Will I ever, or have I
no.
ever?
Well,
No.
I will, or have you? I guess. You said it. You might have done it.
I've never hit the pace car. Matt has, but I never have. But
On
I
purpose?
blame Matt hitting the pace car and Steve Vittori. He was kind of running the ramp that night, and he waved Matt on, and the pace car was coming around into 4, and Matt, you know, as everybody does, comes flying out of the pits, and he
Boom.
nailed him.
Oops.
So, but that year at the banquet, we went, you know, and Matt didn't go to the banquet. I was like pressing him to go, but I went up and accepted his award on, you know, his behalf and Greg gave me the Days of Thunder award.
Oh,
and,
yeah, that's
and
right.
attached on the back was the bill to fix the pace car. So
So another one is, what does it take to be a flagman? What's it take? How'd you get in? I mean,
I got into it. My buddy Dave's a flagman out there on Saturday nights, and he was doing both Friday and Saturdays, and he kind of wanted to get into more racing on Fridays, so he asked if I'd fill in for him one night so he could race, and I said, yeah, you know. And basically, just like racing, you do it once, and it was just like, oh man, that's awesome. That was fun, you know. So it kind of got into that where I basically, I don't know if it was that year, but the next year I kind of took over Fridays, and I've been doing it ever since.
well, you know, you see a lot of racetracks. There's kids in the stands. They bring in the full flag set.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people watch them.
Yeah.
Because they're closer than the flagmen.
Yeah.
They're easier to see.
I've seen some kids that will outdo a lot of the flagmen I've seen at a lot of these tracks around here.
So, kids, that's how you really do it. I mean, that's a start.
Yeah,
and
it
then
is.
obviously the track people see it, and
Oh yeah.
I've talked to a bunch of them. I think the Midwest tour guy came out of the grandstand, and I mean that's
Yeah. Other than driving, I love flagging. It's a lot of fun, and I've got a chance to run. You know, I flagged up at Wilmot Raceway for a season, and I got to flag a lot of IRA sprint car shows.
okay.
And I did. I think I've done now 3 summer national shows,
Awesome.
dirt car shows, and it's cool. It's something else. Being up there opposed to sitting in the stands is completely different.
How many times being at the dirt track do you get hit with the clumps?
Every weekend.
Okay. Not knocked you out hard enough.
No,
You don't have to wear a
no,
helmet
I've got-
or anything up there,
No,
do you?
no, I've got hit in the eye, the stomach. It's. I've never been shot before, but I'm pretty sure that's probably how it feels. But yeah, it hurts.
But you go back for more pain,
Oh,
right?
of course, yeah. It's like getting a tattoo. It hurts like hell, but you just keep going, getting more. So,
Do you have a tattoo?
a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
Oh, you want me to take my shirt off, or?
No, we're good. So Ryan Finley remembers in 2000 sometime the Rockford Speedway Grand Prix broke a wheel off. Yep. Pace car. I think Steve Dixon was driving that. Pretty sure he was. That was a Grand Am, yep. So Michael Goon. Mike helped me build my pure stock strictly through Messenger. Sorry, buddy. I know he gets his messages blown up constantly. What's he talking there? Is that true? You helped the guy build the car?
Yeah, Mike had a lot. He was putting a car together to run pure stock at Sycamore, and we talked quite a bit. And I don't mind helping. You know, I definitely don't mind helping a lot of people out. I'd rather see the cars right before they hit the track, so they don't. When they get there, it's kind of like, oh, no, you got to change this, you got to change that, you got to change this. But I don't mind helping people out. I really don't. I'll talk to. I basically talk to a lot of people all week long, and
Right.
Mike's a good guy. Mike raced, with you last year, so.
And then he says, I'd pay to see Mike wear a bicycle helmet while he's flagging. So here's another one. You know Brandon Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, ever had a driver come up bitching about the way you flagged? Now that's an easy answer.
Yeah.
Or how
It's
many drivers?
basically-
Should be how many drivers haven't?
Yeah, it's basically moms and dads. Like you were saying with the Sixer stuff.
Parents.
I get bitched at from their parents. Why did I made that call, and why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? But I brush it off. I laugh at them and turn back around.
You'll appreciate this. You can, when you're standing there in the flag stand, you can hear the one guy up in the grandstand yelling at you. You know what I mean? You.
Yeah, let's go, flag man. I've heard that a billion times.
Do you sit there and listen to him, or you just kind of tone him out?
I tone them out. I laugh more because I'm not. I don't really turn around and laugh at them, but I'll laugh. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
That might incite him a little
Yeah.
more, don't you think? Yeah.
I've told many people, you think it's that easy? You can come up here and do it.
Oh yeah. I've been lucky enough to flag too. I'm not sure what's going on in the back room, but
There's a bunch of high school girls back
and then
I
we
think
have
we're about to see Mike Coleman's ass. I don't know. It was looking that way.
thank God these lights are really bright. I can't see back there.
Oh shit.
So Michael Bilderbeck sent a message in. He goes, "You're a Rusty Wallace fan, huh?"
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I know we.
I didn't know Crazy Time sponsored Rusty.
Oh, it's a crazy time. Well, look at that.
Look at that, throwing out that plug.
Jeff Williams got a good one. You ever thrown or dropped the flag on the track?
Never
Never.
dropped the flag. Nope.
Really?
We got the.
Did you ever throw the wrong one?
Honestly.
Okay, here we go.
There's been a couple times. Well, they finally last year before, finally moved our light switch up. It was always back here, so you're reaching for the light switch and throwing the flag at the same time, and it's really easy to hit the wrong one.
Oh,
So
you
there was a
did it
couple
wrong.
times where I went to go throw the green and I hit the yellow, or I'd hit the red. So I'm human. I screwed up, whatever. But
Awesome.
they finally moved the switch up, and it's a hell of a lot easier now, and it's easier to hit the right ones.
They color coded for you? Now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, just making sure. Did you ever throw something at a car?
No,
Did you ever break your flag stick on the hood?
no. It's trying to actually getting off our stand to come down. It's a lot farther than you guys.
It's true.
So I've never thrown anything or actually got off the stand to yell at anybody. Every week. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we got a Sixer says, I feel for the safety team and flagman at Rockford Sixers or any of them. Has to be a headache to keep us in check at times and line us up. So he's right. That came up.
For us, we use receivers for
In
everybody.
all divisions.
For everybody.
See?
Yeah. So
Some of the Sixers want to do it at Rockford, and I don't want to. Yes, it would help the lineup.
That's just you think about it. It's like it's a beginner division. It's just an extra cost.
Exactly.
You know,
That was
so.
and it's hard enough for them to figure out the lights and the
Right.
flags, and,
Yeah.
and now you're hammering in their ears. So, all right, I think I did
What if
lose
you
it.
were to do like a rent-a-ceiver? You know?
Well,
Let them use their
$5
own
a night.
earbuds and just rent the radio.
I suppose we could look into it,
Yeah.
but that's
But
it's
then,
hard enough.
But then he'll be
We're-
renting out 25 radios a night or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just something else to keep track of.
Well, the transponder, we were talking about that, running them on Sixers, and no. We've chased them. We've found them 3 miles down the road at an intersection at Forest Hills in Harlem. For people around the area, the guy set it on his bumper of the truck, forgot something at home, took off, and when he turned on Harlem Road there, rolled off. Fortunately, it rolled out to the center line, and I said, "You better get your ass in the truck and go find that thing. That's $500 replacement." He found it in the middle of the road.
That was one thing that I asked the guys after I wrecked my car and they towed it in, and I was like, "Is the receiver still on there?" So I didn't want to, I didn't want to lose it, But yeah, zip ties are pretty strong, by the way.
No, they're not. I'd found them out in the infield before,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
a week or so after
For
the
as
race.
hard as I hit that thing, I'm surprised it stayed on there. But yeah,
So you hit it head on.
yeah.
So
I watched.
Frame collapsed, bent.
The frame it
everything.
went up. It actually bent in the center of the car, and
Oh wow.
it wasn't savable. Josh Nelms and I kind of went over it and looked at it and more, and Josh is like, "It's done." It was a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. So
So back to when you hit the point. So you got hit in the rear too.
yeah, the car.
So that
the car
that
stood
double
up.
whammed it.
And I tell you, being in the car, it just, as fast as you're going, it was slow motion for me. I saw the smoke and I hit the brakes and it felt like I slid all the way down the back straightaway, not just that little spot. And I knew there was somebody behind me, but I didn't think I was going to get hit, but I got hit pretty hard. So, but it bent I had the
Headrest.
headrest. It went bent straight out. So I mean,
How were you after that? Or you were fine that day? It's usually the second
it
day
was
after.
Tuesday when I was at work. I was like, man, I should have went to the hospital. Yes, I felt like shit. It was pretty bad, but
Nothing broken or nothing
No.
after that, huh?
no. That was like when I first, I walked back down to the trailer. I got in the trailer and everybody kept, in and out of the trailer the whole time. You okay? You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And I
And the
was like, everybody's
adrenaline.
like, you need anything? I was like, yeah, just give me a beer and let me sit down and relax. I'll be
Get me
fine.
out, yeah.
In a new car, yeah.
Well, you didn't.
But
know that.
actually, what I was supposed to say, Mike Coleman wanted me to say to tell everybody that I'm still alive after that, because my Facebook blew up, praying for me and all this other shit. And
Oh,
I don't know. I didn't think it looked like I got killed in the thing, but I guess I did. I don't know. Oh, you find a wreck?
Any hit in the point is always got
Yeah.
everybody on the edge.
There's another video from the back stands, and I
back
saw it
bleachers?
Saturday night, but I didn't get a chance to.
Oh wow!
I didn't get a chance to see. I saw it Saturday night, but somebody was supposed to send it to me, but I never got to see it. But
That is a heavy hit.
yeah, I don't know what was worse, hitting the point or getting hit after the fact. You know.
You couldn't finish the race?
Yeah, no, I you know, it's funny. I got a lot of dumbass like questions after that of why I didn't stop. I don't know. It was
Just hard to see in the
Yeah.
corner in this video.
Yeah.
that videographer was out to lunch
Video
that night.
guy sucks, man.
He was going after the smoke. He was
I'm
going
watching
after the smoke.
Car blowing up.
Right.
Out of the corner of my eye, I see this car hitting the point. I was like, oh no.
That was probably actually when Kyle drove through at the end, and I were kind of standing out looking at the car, and he drove up, and I'm like, please tell me you got that on video.
Of course.
I want to see it, you know.
I did remember I was talking to Dan Lignell, and he goes, "Yep, I ran up to the car, and he said you took a few seconds, and then he said, I'm okay, Dan, but he said you were a little discombobulated, and I certainly can understand. I mean,
Yeah.
you're lucky you're
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
you're-
yeah. I don't know. It kind of, you know, after the fact, you think about it, and it's like, you know, I guess, you know, we don't think about it getting in there, but I mean, shit, this stuff could take your life, and you know, but I mean, that wreck easily could have killed me, but
So I'm saying
still
that
here,
that was your worst wreck.
still alive. I'm still alive, everybody.
Wait, did you die?
I might have.
He came back.
Did you die?
So that's got to be your worst
That was the worst.
out of your whole racing career.
Yeah,
right?
that was the worst. I've like I said, I've torn up cars before, but never that bad. But
Yeah.
never to the point of having to cut them up. But
Well, at least we can say it wasn't your fault.
that's true.
We'll give you that one. You know? What do you do though when the guy in front of you blows up?
Yeah,
I mean, there's-
the first thing I did was I hit the brakes and it started to slide, and I was like, oh shit! And
you couldn't.
I grabbed onto the wheel and I braced myself because I knew the impact was coming, and there's nothing you can do really, you know.
Well, last week we had Max Kaler on the show, and we were talking. I don't know if you remember it prior to short track. His throttle stuck in his super late model. Launched to turn one, took out 90 feet of billboard, and he says, you know, everyone, well, hit the brakes, push the clutch, shut the car off. There's no time for that.
Yeah.
It's you're traveling
Yeah.
fast, and
Right.
shit happens, and
You
there's
don't. Yeah, you don't. I mean, you it's like what the thing says. You don't. There's no time to think, only to react. And I mean, that's what I did. I just reacted, and I folded my steering wheel completely over the column, and because I was holding on to it, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. You just, like I said, it sucks. But
Where's the steering wheel at now? Hanging on the shop wall, or did you
it's gonna
scrap
go in
it?
my brother's basement bar.
Okay.
We're gonna put it down there.
All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, along with my other stack of parts that got destroyed, like my fuel cell, which, you know, I highly doubt that Jazz Products is watching, but Jazz was kind enough to sponsor me a brand new fuel cell.
Oh, really?
That night I had my wife take a picture of it, and I told her, I said, I'm going to send it to Jazz, and not knowing that I would actually get a reply, I sent it to their Facebook page, and I immediately got a response from their web guy, and he hooked me up with their sales manager and Brad, and he got together with me and he said, hey, we want to sponsor you a new cell. So I got a new cell from Jazz, and it's a huge thing to those guys, and you know, because it was it was like biggest thing, I guess, getting hit like that in the ass of the car and getting hit that hard, and the cell never busted open. I mean, it broke it open, but it never broke the bladder. So I was pretty lucky with that, because I wasn't getting out of that car anytime soon at that point. So I'm glad it didn't start on fire.
Full of fuel?
It was about 3/4 of the way full of fuel. 'Cause on Sunday morning I was selling gas out of that thing. So I made $100. So if I would have made the feature, I at least would have got that 100. So.
Sold the fuel out of it. So is that early in the race? Is that obvious? Must have been.
That was like 5 laps into it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? But we're gonna
All right.
we're gonna build a new car now, so I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go for next year. This year.
Where's that car? What's the process? Where are we at with that?
I got
Well,
it.
I guess we got time if it's not until October. But
Yeah, I got all kinds of time. But I like to try to get it out on Thursdays and kind of shake it down first and see what it's going to do.
Right.
But it's in the process. It's kind of sitting there, body and frame. I took all the suspension off of it and stuff to clean it up. So we're going to put my setup out of my old car in that one and see what we got. So we'll see.
Same bracket we're shooting for, or you
I'm
wanna,
gonna try
step
to
her up a little
I'm gonna
bit.
try to slow it down and get back in the quad A with
Slower
my
down,
friends.
okay.
Yeah.
Say we can step up to the Mid-Am style car.
No,
Sportsman,
no. Yeah, this is an old '74 Chevelle. So,
Okay.
but thank you, sir. Oh, wait a minute.
Roy Lawson, when is the Spring Classic? In the spring.
Oh, yeah. Is that going to be a Saturday or Sunday show?
We are still working the details out. This has got to be the craziest
Please,
scheduling.
just
year.
do it for me. Don't do it on Saturday night. I want to be there.
Will you guys be running by then? Probably.
I have no idea. The schedule's not out, and so I don't know where we're at right there. But
Most likely.
most likely it'll be the same night.
Sycamores, that's
Yeah.
usually how it goes. Well, in the last 2 years, we've lost that to weather. So last year's plan, as you would remember, we were going to run the Spring Classic on Saturday, and then we'd have a makeup date for Sunday. Well, then COVID hit for last year's deal, so
Yeah.
that's why it's still up in the air. Whoever that was, Roy, on the Spring Classic. So we're getting close. Where is the Big 8 series? It's all part of that game. there's this track, that track, and Big 8 has big news. I don't know if you saw that. We're going to the Milwaukee Mile
Yes.
with the Arca Menard
That's
series.
the Father's Day deal.
No, we're in
Oh, no.
August.
Oh, okay.
Father's Days, Midwest Tour, trucks and vintage maybe. So that'll be it's been 7 years since we've been there. Yeah, 7 or 8 years for Big 8 late models. So
Mike
When
Coleman
you
gonna run
know-
that show?
he's
No.
got a car.
Can I rent the car out?
You scared? David will borrow me some tires.
Borrowed some tires.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
ask my new sponsor if he'll hook me up with some wheel and tires.
There you go.
I might be
Well, John Magnuson, this is not Max Kaler.
Oh.
No, he says congratulations, Max Kaler, on winning the NSTC and being the 2008 or 2020 Big 8 late model champion. I don't know if that was from last week, but
I don't know what you're reading.
I don't know.
Oh, that's not me. That's probably why. That's Max.
You watch an old
Oh.
video?
Yeah, he's like.
Somehow we switched. Well, look at that. I don't.
Watching the last week?
You know, this guy's asking the Big
I was
8.
gonna say that dude is way skinnier than me.
Yeah,
so-
look at it. Wow, you're a lot younger than I remember. What the hell?
We take a commercial break or.
What are you feeding me here, boys? No wonder why these guys asking about.
I gave it to you.
I don't know. Well, there was a lot of good questions.
All the questions last week so well. We got
Yeah, let's see what happens.
nice to see you, Max.
All right, Max.
How's your late model doing? What do you
Yeah. Oh well, technology at its finest, isn't
That's
it?
all right.
And then the internet's gonna crash, and
That's right. We're in big trouble.
so give me your 20 seconds political statement. Sum up the night for us.
What, you want to talk politics now?
No, I just want to know what should we do as Americans.
I think it's time to
By
open
Mike
the, open the
Doris.
goddamn country back up. Let us live our lives. If you're scared of this shit, stay home.
There it is, folks.
There it is.
Hey, the crowd in the back.
There it
cheering. Indoor fireworks going off everywhere.
Let us go to the goddamn racetrack and not have to wear masks and look like sheep walking around. And let us live our lives.
Amen. I'm with you on that one. Hey, Mike, it's been a great night. Thanks for all your info and
Thank you,
your
Dave.
history, and glad to be part of it. We'll be back here next week with a special guest, to be announced. And don't forget, subscribe to Misfit Productions. And then in the slow, snowy off season, look at all those videos. Awesome stuff on there. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching tonight. This is Outside the Fence, And we're done for tonight. We'll see you next week.